Okay, so here you have it. They are dressed. And now I will punch the hole. And actually, before we do that, I need to address the groove one more time. Okay, I'm going to clean this up just a little bit. Nice. Good. I like to save as much of the boss material as possible. So I will start on the back side. Good. Over. So the reason why I use a smaller punch is because I want to keep as much material as possible. I'm actually making this hole for a 3/8" pin. So what I'll do now is I'll keep an eye on how this is actually opening up, and you can see it's starting to get more round. And that's what I'll do is I'll keep an eye on it and try to get it round as possible and centered. Oh, my bad. So what I try doing also is I always try punching from the outside inwards, and that way there I get a nice taper on the outside of it. So you can see that actually rounded up pretty nicely. You go ahead and come back in, just do some cleanup, like so. Very happy with that. Check for stock size. Perfect. So I'll just do the same thing to the next one. And I go from the inside. Flip it over. Keep an eye on how it's centered. Now when I punch, I'm actually looking for where the mark is on my punch of where it's been polished. And that's where I'll punch to again, because I know that that is the size. Okay, so there's that. Clean up there. So now you can see our holes are in pretty good shape. That'll work. Now I'm going to clean up the groove in this jaw a little bit more. Man, this is hot. I'm not not doing a very good job of keeping that in line. That's terrible. That's why you gotta take little hits. There we go. That'll work. Good there. Good there. Up there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to take and fold over my wings. Actually, no, I am not. What I'm going to do is actually make the rivet. So I'm going to start out with some 1/2 inch material, if I have any in here. So I know that my bosses represent about 1 inch in width, because they're about 1/2 inch each. So ideally what I want to do is I want to pull off basically about 1/2 more to 1/3 more, or 1.5 times the diameter. So I have it centered on the rod. Check for fitting in. Should slide all the way through. Maybe a little bit more. That is a tight one. There we go. Perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to localize my heat right here, and I'm going to stick it in the heading mandrel or into the heading block just to get a little bit better shoulder on it. You want to isolate it some. That's all you got to do. Then you're trying to form a nice shoulder. Now you're going to come in with your hard hardy And you are going to actually never mind, we're going to use our butcher tool. We'll use our butcher tool. No, we won't. Will we? Nope, we won't. In here. That'll bring down our head size, and that'll taper it out a little bit. Then we're going to come back, and now we're actually going to come in and then cut it off. So all I'm doing is right now is actually forming the head of the rivet. You can see how I'm actually just taking it off and forming that high peak. Just like so. Snap it off, flip it over. Now all I'm doing here is trying to keep the rivet going straight in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it maybe a couple more times. Then I'm actually going to stick it back in the fire, which is what I'm going to do right now. And I'm going to take a fast heat. Fast heat, you can see I localized most of the heat into the rivet. An area that you should be concerned with is actually how tight the joint is. You want the joint to be very, very tight. Wiggle, wiggle. Smack it, smack it, smack it. In the middle. That back belongs. Okay. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Okay. So now I need to put my maker's mark in them, and I'm going to put it on that side. Sure, why not, right? Okay, so now we're actually going to do the setting of the wings of the jaws. I don't have any 1.25 inch handy, so I'm going to have to make it up as I go. Oh, maybe I do. Perfect. Now what I'm doing is actually just making this just a little bit wider than what I need. good heat. Get a really good heat on the box part or the wing part. Leave your vise just a little bit more open than what you think you're going to need. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start coming in with my regular hammer and just banging those down very slightly. Like so. And I don't want to hit that hard. I just want to start that bend going. And I'm going to actually get a little bit better heat. You can see where it's starting to change shape. I'm actually going to put my radius jaws in. Then I'm going to come back, hitting straight down. Bending them over. I'll grab my little bit bigger 1.25 inch now. I'm going to start closing up the jaws. And I want to make sure that that is centered. I'll knock in at the radius. Open this up just a little bit. Just a little bit more. A little bit more. Okay. So what I'll do now is I'll come in and actually do just a little bit of cleanup. I want to be able to hold this bar so it's right in the middle. So I'm going to come in here. Actually, a little vise. Way back there. Over just a little bit. Good. One more heat should do it. So that's our last heat as far as setting all this stuff up. Now we're going to take one more to even out the jaws. It works. Now if you'd like to, you can actually make the bosses tighter. Because if you look, there's actually ample material. Like right now you can see how it wiggles a little bit. To me that's okay because the tongs itself is holding. So really what that comes in handy is when you're like really working on an uneven surface and you really want it to be a lot tighter, if that makes sense. But having it right now where it is pretty good. So again, talking about the flex in the tongs, you see how I have ample flex in the tongs? So now I'll just make it the same length and we are good to go. Not bad. 3/8 of an inch off by. That's not too bad. So overall, I'm extremely happy with how they came out. Right on the money for what I was hoping to achieve. My wings are taller than I want because maybe with the size of these that I can actually go up. Like if I want to do a 1/2 inch, then I can do a 1/2 inch, and I've got plenty of height in my wings. Anyways, you can make the wings as tall or as short as you want them. This is pretty good for what I was trying after.